You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof of your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Welcome back, Kathleen Garito, KG Interior Designs. Welcome.
How are you? I love that music every time you play that.
Yeah, it reminds us of a day gone by, and for old people like me, I mean, that was good stuff. Some people don't remember it, but it's fun by me.
I do.
Hey, go ahead.
Oh, I do. I remember it.
Okay, I'm not going to say you're old like me, though. I'm not going there. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we're celebrating today. There's a lot of celebrating going on here today. And let's start off National Care for Kids Day. I'm confused. If you've got kids, isn't every day Care for Kids Day? Now, I don't know what age that stops. My oldest is 34. I still think it's Care for Kids Day. So, starts at the beginning. What else do we have? National String Cheese Day. It's a good, healthy snack, string cheese. I don't know how we, enjoy that one. National Fried Rice. I don't know how they put National Fried Rice Day. And yes, I do like fried rice as well. Of course, having beaten anorexia, there's not a whole lot of food that I don't like. Fried Rice Day. Today is also National Pepperoni Pizza Day. Now, if you haven't had pepperoni pizza from Tony's Little Italy in the city of Placentia, you're missing out. Takes a while to get it, but it's good stuff. National Punch Day. No violence here, but I will say that we did come up with a good method. We made a punch when I was in college. That punch packed a serious punch. We did have to resurrect it when my son was playing football. Some of the parents did indulge in the pre-gaming. So National Punch Day is today as well. Moving right along, let's see what's going on in the world. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is up 200 points. Doesn't matter. S&P 500 is up 855. The NASDAQ is down 14. Oil prices down 11 cents a barrel. Why did I say the Dow doesn't matter? Well, nothing matters in the markets until about 11 o'clock here on the West Coast, 2 o'clock in the United States, where Kathleen is broadcasting from. So that's when the Federal Reserve is going to come out with their statement. And it's all about the statement. Actually, they come out with their announcement of what they're doing with interest rates at 2 o'clock Eastern time, 11 here on the West Coast. But that's when they announce rates. Not going to do anything. They're not going to change rates today. When they come out and start talking at 11:30, 2:30 on the East Coast, that's when the fireworks will start. It generally does at that time. But oil prices, and again, we look at oil prices, and I laugh when I listen to the media here in Calazuela talking about gasoline because they talk about the idea of price gouging. Let's think about price gouging because I'm sitting here broadcasting in Calazuela. Our average for the state is $5.79 a gallon for gasoline. Josh, you took a big jump, 506. You were, I think, at 496 yesterday, so you went up quite a bit in a day. And Kathleen's coming to us from America. She's paying $3.67 in Florida. That's the average for the state. $3.67. Did I say that right? $3.67 in Florida and $5.79 in California. Over $2 a gallon. Now, is that all going to the gas companies? No. The vast majority is going to taxes and fees. And I just laugh because we hear that, well, 60 cents a gallon in taxes in California. Hogwash.
You know better than that.
Because we came out with a thing in California that you can't tax the people anymore without a vote of the people. So now they just call it a fee. Now, what's the difference? They're still confiscating our money. So $5.79 a gallon, and it's going to continue to go up just because we're watching oil prices continue to go up. So just hold on to your wallets. It's going to get worse. Let's see what else is going on in the world today. So I did tell you a little bit about the Federal Reserve. They're going to hold their rate 5.25 to 5.5. That decision comes out at 11 o'clock here on the West Coast. Be careful, though. Interest rates, I think, my forecast, November meeting, they're going to go up higher because the Federal Reserve likes to break something. And right now, their mission is to break the economy. We know that because we watch what they continue to do. We already know that if they were to look forward, that their favorite measure of inflation is the core PCE. It's right in the high twos right now. They want it to be at 2. All of the increases in interest rates have not gone into effect yet. They take 6 to 12 to 18 months to go into effect. So the ones that they just did last month before that, those haven't even taken effect yet. And the Federal Reserve hasn't waited, and we're already almost at their number that they want it to be. I have ongoing debates with some of my colleagues talking about the idea that by the second quarter of next year, our unemployment rate will be at 5.5%, up from about 3.8 right now. 5.5. They say, Ron, it's not. There's no way that's going to happen. It's not going to go up that quickly. Well, why wouldn't it? We're running out of money. Our government spends more money than they have. $33 trillion in debt now. Our credit card balances are at all-time highs. Do you think the credit card companies are going to continue to increase limits? Why? We haven't seen the layoffs yet from all the strikes. I know this president is the union president, but can somebody remind me when the last time is that we had so many strikes going on at one time? The writers, who cares? The actors, doesn't bother me either. It bothers me the people around those industries. If they want to go on strike, it just baffles me here in California. Our legislature is on the verge of voting in that when you go on strike, voluntary on strike, you can collect unemployment benefits. Well, you wouldn't be unemployed if it wasn't your own decision. So that's the issue there. The United Auto Workers, they're on strike. Who's next? We're continuing to watch all these organizations going on strike. Well, that's going to eventually hit the employment rolls. They say right now that the screen actors and the writers has cost the state of California $5 billion. $5 billion. Whose fault is that? Okay, so we're going to see more shortfalls. We're going to see issues coming up. It means inflation is going to start going up again because gas prices are going to hit the markets. And I forecast that the Federal Reserve will increase interest rates in November. We'll have some tough times for the holidays. And after the holidays, we're going to see a lot of layoffs. We'll see. Today is September 20th. Mark the date. You can go back and see if I was right or wrong because our programs are all recorded and they're all in our archives, ronsiegelradio.com, the archives. So you can find out. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat about interior design. I have no idea. I have no taste. But Kathleen Garito is with us. We will learn about it. Remote work is changing how some buyers search for their dream house. Wonder why that would be. What is debt relief? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. OBMMI. Every day this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or APR. They just tell us the locked rate, again, with all those consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions. 30-year conforming up, 7.209. 30-year jumbo down, 7.397. 30-year FHA up, 7.009. 30-year USDA down, 7.029. Look, a roller coaster here. Best loan on the market, though, got to earn this one. That would be the 30-year VA loan, 6.791. And if you want our market commentary, we do release a short blurb every morning, as early as we can get it out, weekday mornings, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. You can get that commentary. Let's see what's going on in these markets today, though. 10-year Treasuries down 3 basis points to 4.33. S&P 500 is up a little bit. The mortgage-backed securities, they're up at up 19 basis points, which means interest rates are down. But again, remember, it's all about the Fed and their commentary at 11:30, their rate release at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Widely expected the Fed will leave rates unchanged, but their comments are what's important. The big question is whether or not they will hike in November, and that will likely depend on the next jobs report and inflation reports. We watch those for you all the time. The market expectations based on Fed futures is pricing in a 99% chance of leaving rates unchanged this afternoon and a 71% chance of them not doing anything in November. I don't agree with that one, but we'll see. If we continue to see core inflation come down and weak job numbers, they're likely done hiking in this cycle, especially since Fed members like New York Fed President John Williams are starting to look down the road instead of behind us. It's about time. As a part of their statement, the Fed will release new projections for GDP, the unemployment rate, PCE inflation, and where they think the Fed funds rate will go. They'll also release their dot plot chart showing where each of the Fed members believe the Fed funds rate will be. It's expected that we may see some dots in regards to rate cuts move back later in 2024 and into 2025. Powell will likely try to keep the door open for more hikes and be non-committal and data dependent, which it's always past data dependent. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So being that I have no taste, well, I do have taste in good guests. That I do. But when it comes to design and creativity and seeing into the future and what things will look like, I've got blinders. So we are fortunate enough this morning. Kathleen Garito, KG Interior Design, is with us, coming to us from, I guess in this segment, I better say from Florida instead of saying from the United States. But welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
Glad to have you with us. So you used to call you bi-coastal, but you're focused heavily in Florida now, aren't you?
I am, yeah. My business is really turned around down here. We're super busy. So I go back periodically, maybe once every 6 months for clients if they need me, but primarily I'm here full time.
So let me ask you this before we get into what's going on in the world. So if I remember correctly, you started out in New York, didn't you?
Yeah, born and raised in, New York, Long Island.
So in my past life, it used to be that things started out in the Northeast as far as trends. They moved to the West, and then they kind of filled the rest of the country. Is that still the case?
I don't think so. I think, we have Miami down here, and we have like North Carolina where they make most of their furniture. I would say, I don't know if up north is the leader of fashion. Maybe New York, because that's where a lot of the fashion shows are and all of that good stuff. But I would say there are some very strong cities throughout the United States that are good leaders of design.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be. I was going to think that it might be an advantage if Florida was a little trailer, because you've got the roots in all these other areas to bring that ahead, be the leader of the pack. But now you got to. I'm assuming there's all kinds of trade shows and things like that you can go to find out what the future holds.
Oh yeah, I mean we have North Carolina. That's where they have all the shows. I have Miami an hour south of me that I go down there and look at some of the trends in fashion and furniture. So it's all over. I think the one thing that I contribute out here, why people are hiring me, is that I have more of a California coastal flair versus that Florida, Miami, bright colors, bold. Mine's more soothing, peaceful. And that's why clients are calling me and saying, I love your style. I love that California coastal, and they're hiring me over here.
Well, it's good to hear that you're busy. That's the key. So what should we be looking for, for how far out in advance are you looking? I mean, you're probably not looking at what the fashion is going to be for the holidays this year. That's probably done, but if I'm guessing. Is that a good guess, or is it still holiday time?
That's good. I just received a few books thanks to a good friend of mine who was over in Italy, and I have quite a few magazines which inspire me because they're always a couple of years ahead of us with colors and trends. So I always love to look at those magazines to inspire myself, so I don't wait here for it to come here. So I'm ahead of the game.
So I'm as you can tell, I'm basic black. But what are the colors that are coming up? Maybe for next year, even.
I haven't looked at the magazine, but more like there's greens, there's golds, there's vibrant colors. Some of the stuff is matted and neutral, so it's more like the creams and the grays we're kind of getting away from. So the grays are slowly going away, and more taupey color versus the gray. It's more warm. Much more warm than cold.
Okay, so
and much more warmer than we're doing more modern than farmhouse. So everybody, with Chip and Joanna Gaines, everybody wanted the farmhouse. We're kind of sliding away from that as well. And every age group loves the ultra modern. They like really modern stuff.
Interesting. So what would I, when I hear someone say modern, I'm thinking metal and glass.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be that.
That figures that I would be wrong.
I like doing modern with a warm feel. So there's modern with a cold feel, which are more the metals, the glass, clean lines. but also modern, you can bring in some natural elements as well to soften it up a little bit.
Interesting. So, when you're talking to the average consumer, how often are they able, or how often do you see them really making major changes, or is it accessories that are changed?
Well, I think right now in my world here in South Florida, there are so many people moving here that we're doing a ton of remodels, more than even the accessories. So we're just doing a ton of new kitchen, new bathrooms. They're modernizing a lot of these older homes here.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and that comes just from the transplants, is that it? So it's not the people that have been there for a long time that are redoing things?
Yeah, a lot of mine are transplants, yes.
Where are they coming from?
They're coming from everywhere. I just got another referral, California. We have New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire. I work with a lot of snowbirds too. So they bought a home down here. They're here part-time, and we're working on their homes.
Interesting. So, there's so much opportunity in what you do, because, if it's the transplants or those that are moving up, upsizing, downsizing, they need your help. I'm sure that and I know just from friends of ours who have some disposable net worth, they like to change every season. So you kind of get some of everybody.
Exactly. And the beauty that I, pride myself on is I can work on any budget. So if a client only has, maybe it's a few $100 or whatever, maybe it's more consulting and kind of help them declutter and add some things to their home. So very minimal. Or maybe it's a tear down, maybe it's all new furniture, maybe it's a complete remodel. So we're able to work with every budget, so everybody can have some type of interior design on their home.
Now, when you were on, I don't know, last time or the time before that with us, we were chatting quite a bit about how difficult it was just in getting product. Is that cleaned up a little bit?
Yes, it has, but I'm hearing out there it's starting to turn around again. So even things from Italy are coming in on time that we're ordering. Everything's coming in, but I just heard from one of my light suppliers, and he said everything's starting to slow down again as far as shipping. I don't know if that's just the lighting industry. I don't know if it's where they're purchasing it, but I have not seen it anywhere else. We're pretty much on time on all my deliveries.
Okay, so at least we don't have to wait 6 months to 2 years to get a new sofa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. We're going to continue our conversation with Kathleen Garito, KG Interior Design. When we come back, remote work is changing how some buyers search for their dream homes. What is debt relief? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. You go on there, monitor your credit, monitor your bank assets. It'll even tell you valuations of your property for different sources. 3 of them are usually pretty good, and Zillow as well. And there's even a place on there that can show you about 97% of the properties around the country that are available for sale. So even if you are here where I am on the West Coast, you can actually go on RSR Money and see what properties are available where our guest Kathleen is on the East Coast. All there. Let's take a look. Remote work is changing how some buyers search for their dream homes. The way Americans work has changed in recent years, and remote work is at the forefront of this shift. Experts say it'll continue to be popular for years to come and project that 36.2 million Americans will be working remotely by 2025. To give you some perspective, that's a 407 increase compared to the pre-pandemic years when there were just 7 million remote workers. If you're in the market to buy a home and you work remotely, either full or part-time, this trend is a game changer. It can help you overcome some of today's affordability and housing inventory challenges. How remote work helps with affordability. Remote or hybrid work allows you to change how you approach your home search. Since you're no longer commuting every day, you may not feel it's as essential to live near your office. If you're willing to move a bit further out in the suburbs instead of the city, you could open up your pool of affordable options. In a recent study, Fannie Mae explains, quote, home affordability may also be a reason why we saw an increase in remote workers' willingness to relocate or live farther away from their workplace, unquote. If you're thinking about moving, having this kind of location flexibility can boost your chances of finding a home that fits your budget. Work with your agent to cast a wider net that includes additional areas with a lower cost of living. More work flexibility means more home options. And as you broaden your search to include more affordable options, you may also find you have the chance to get more features for your money too. Given the low supply of homes for sale, finding a home that fits all your wants and needs can be challenging. By opening up your search, you'll give yourself a bigger pool of options to choose from, and that makes it easier to find a home that truly fits your lifestyle. This could include homes with more square footage, diverse home styles, and a wider range of neighborhood amenities that were previously out of reach. Historically, living close to work was sought after perk, often coming with a hefty price tag. But now the dynamics have changed. If you work from home, you have the freedom to choose where you want to live without the burden of daily long commutes. This shift allows you to focus more on finding a home that is affordable and delivers on your dream home features. Bottom line, remote work goes beyond job flexibility. It's a chance to broaden your horizons in your home search without being bound to a fixed location. You have the freedom to explore all of your options. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. Happy to chat with you about this subject and put a game plan together. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation with Kathleen Garito, KG Interior Design. So, Kathleen, are you seeing people in South Florida that are remote workers?
Yes, very much so. Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty nice because, I mean, if you watch the news, and I don't want to get political in this segment, I do other times, but you know, you see a lot of folks that really enjoy what they're doing in Florida from a political standpoint. And if you can do that remote work, you know, you could live in Florida and still have a job in Silicon Valley.
Right. And I do have some clients like that.
Do you see that with the snowbirds? Are they still working when they're coming down there from the snow countries?
I don't know, but I will tell you something, that they're coming down here much earlier than expected. You know, I've only been here 2 years, and the trucks have already come down unloading many, many cars. So they're coming down a lot earlier than they usually do, which typically I believe is October, and now they're coming down in September. So it gets quite busy down here.
Yeah, I know out in the Coachella Valley here, it's usually in the October time frame is when they start coming, then heavily right after the holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I see it just a little bit different this year.
What are home values doing down there?
They're good. You know, there are some price improvements out there because I think, you know, this market was so crazy for so long that some of the pricing got out of control, and I think they're just correcting itself. But the market is still hot out here. You know, it's still hot. I got to tell you, I'm working in one big community. Homes are over $1 million, $1.8 million. Now they're over $2.5 million. They're down in Boca Raton, and they're selling out like hotcakes. First week they were on the market to sell them, new builds. They were 65% sold out
Wow, in the first week.
first week.
And that's at a pretty. It's not cheap price point. That's not first time home buyers.
Not for here, and not for here. That's a really high price point for here.
Is it really? Okay, so I haven't looked at pricing in Boca Raton. So that's, but I will.
Right.
So tell me what should we know about the interior design world? What is it that you think that people really need to know about?
A few things. Everybody, people's perception is, oh, it's too expensive. Well, not every interior designer, especially myself, is just higher end clientele, And then the other thing is some people say, I don't need an interior designer. I'm going to gut out my whole house, rip out the kitchen. I'm going to do this all on my own. And I would say, make sure, like myself, my background is in interior design, in architectural design. So I know how to build things. I know how to build kitchens. I know how to put that stuff together. I know the codes. And it's so, so important to make sure when you hire somebody to do a big remodel or furnishing, that person really has an education behind them and they really know what they're doing. Because big mistakes can be made very quickly that could be, cost, I don't know, $10, $20, $30, $50,000, just by not measuring things the right way or just throwing things into a spot and not realizing that the scale is incorrect, So I think it's really important. Here's where, Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, they have interior designers. Go down there. I got to tell you, I've had more issues where clients go down there thinking they don't have to pay for a designer, and then the furniture gets into the house and the scale is wrong because they don't know how to do space planning and stuff the way we were taught.
That's pretty interesting because and it makes sense what you're saying, especially to somebody like me who just has no knowledge of this whole marketplace.
Right.
So you need to hire professionals, and I'm going to submit that more often than not, the professionals don't cost anything, because by the time if you're in the scenario you just made, well, if I've got to buy it, return it, I probably don't have a truck, I've got to rent something, all those different areas, it's a challenge. So I end up doing it and taking all my time off work, and then I get something that my wife doesn't like anyway.
Right. Or they end up, skipping over me, bringing in a GC, and the GC is not qualified to put the kitchen in.
What's a GC?
A general contractor.
Oh, okay. I'm a simple guy. I don't know all these things.
Yeah. So just making sure, like I have a team. So when somebody hires me, my clients trust that I will refer them good people. So down here, I have a great general contractor. Down here, I have good woodworkers, good plumbers, good electricians. And it just makes them, feel better knowing that I can refer somebody that's not going to do something incorrect or overcharge them and take advantage.
That's a big issue because when you're doing some of the things like you're talking about remodeling or doing a kitchen, how often does the average person really ever redo their kitchen unless they have a flood?
Yeah.
They don't do that. So how do you know what you really need? How do you know what to forecast? Right? You might, unless you're going in and walking model homes or you got a lot of friends that have done it recently. My house is, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years old.
Right.
So you wouldn't know any of these things. And you could end up getting sticker shock, number one, or maybe you're getting a great deal and you're getting what you pay for.
Well, here's a way to prevent it. So when a client brings me in and they want to do a remodel, the first thing we do is price everything out before we hire anybody or do anything. Because you're right, a lot of clients don't realize a kitchen could be $60,000. They're thinking it's $15,000 or $30,000. So I like to price everything out so then they know what the budget is and what they can afford and not afford before they get into it. Because sometimes they'll get into it and then they're up over their head. And I always tell them, save at least 10% of what this project is to the side, because we don't know what we're going to find beyond the studs. So when we take that drywall off, we might find old electrical. We might find that somebody rigged something incorrectly. We might find plumbing that is starting, to fall apart and we have to replace. So it's always good to have a cushion too. Don't just say I have 50,000. So 50,000 is what I'm spending on the kitchen. You got to leave some extra funds too.
I love it that you throw that out there up front, Kathleen, because my wife likes watching a lot of these reality TV shows.
Uh-huh.
and the fix and flip and all that. And it baffles me that every single show, one of the comments that they have is, "Oh, we didn't expect this, and we're going to go over budget."
Right.
Well, if you've done more than one, you should have a contingency amount of money set aside, or if you've hired somebody like yourself,
Right.
you should know that there's always the unexpected.
Right. And not every designer will say that. The other thing I question my clients when they have this whole big, beautiful kitchen they're going to do is, how many years are you going to be in this house? Is it a 5-year plan, or is it the rest of your life? Because if it's the rest of your life, then spend as much as you want in this house and enjoy every single thing. But if you're going to sell this in 5 years, let's make it look beautiful, cost effectively, without dropping $100K into it. Because the return, you might not get that return if you just recently bought the house, right? Because we're paying top dollar for homes. So I always make them kind of think, how much do you want to put in? Because you're not going to get that back.
I want to talk to you about that when we come back, about the idea of planning for the future when you're doing something for right now. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it's wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions. What is debt relief? As consumer debt rises to all-time highs, more Americans are searching for debt relief programs to help deal with debt. Debt relief broadly refers to a variety of options for managing your debt, including consolidating and settling your debts. Each option has benefits and drawbacks, so careful consideration is important to choosing the best approach for your debt. Debt relief firms, also called debt settlement firms, aim to reduce your overall debt by asking creditors to accept a lower lump sum payment. If they agree, any remaining balance is canceled. Accounts typically need to be past due before a debt relief firm can negotiate for you. They'll ask you to stop paying your creditors and make payments to a separate account instead. Once you've saved up enough to make a settlement offer, the company will negotiate on your behalf and pay the settlement if the creditor accepts the offer. In exchange for their services, debt relief companies typically charge 15 to 25% of the total debt you have enrolled. You'll only be charged after a debt has been successfully settled. There are some risks to working with a debt relief service. Not all debts can be settled, specifically secured debts like a mortgage or auto loan. Since settlement offers are made on delinquent accounts, you may incur late payments and experience a FICO score decrease. Creditors are not obligated to agree to settlement offers. Some may choose not to work with your debt relief company. Settling debts may come with tax implications, since canceled debts may be considered income. Be careful of these companies. Debt management plan. A debt management plan, or DMP, is a service offered by credit counseling agencies. Under a debt management plan, you'll make a single monthly payment to the credit counseling agency, who then distributes payments to your individual creditors. The debt management may include better terms, a lower interest rate, or lower minimum payment. You'll still repay your full outstanding balance, but the goal is to make your payments more manageable. Credit counseling agencies may charge a small fee for their services, but should offer reduced fee options if you have low income. Since you won't be able to use credit cards until you complete the debt management plan, you'll have time to kick bad debt habits to the curb. Debt consolidation combines multiple debts into a single balance with a debt consolidation loan. Instead of having to split your payments among several creditors, you'll have just one payment to make. However, since you'll need to qualify for a new loan or credit card, debt consolidation is a better option if you have good credit. Consolidating could be more expensive if your debt consolidation loan interest rate is higher or your repayment stretches over a longer period. Paying off your credit card balances also frees up your credit limits, which could tempt you to fall into a trap of spending again. Be careful. Emergency debt relief for disasters. If you live in a declared disaster area, you may be eligible for a low interest rate disaster loan from the U.S. Small Business Administration. FEMA works with the SBA to provide loans to help cover damaged items or to prevent future damage. Bankruptcy. That legally removes your liability for certain debts. Under the most common form of bankruptcy, Chapter 7 liquidation, most unsecured debts can be erased. That includes credit card debt, personal loans, and medical debt. If you need to save a home from foreclosure or your income is higher than the median for your state, you can file Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You'll enter a 3 to 5 year repayment plan, after which remaining unsecured debts are discharged. Because it's extremely damaging to your credit, bankruptcy is often considered a last resort option. It may be worth consulting a bankruptcy attorney if you think bankruptcy may be a possibility. What's best for you? I don't know. But if you give me a call at 800-306-1990, we can chat about it. You can go to cleanall3.com, cleanall3.com, get a copy of your True FICO report, and we can have a conversation. That is Your Credit Matters, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. Continuing our conversation with Kathleen Garito, KG Interior Design, chatting about redesigning your house, interior design. Obviously, if you've listened to Ron Siegel Radio for any length of time, you know I have no creativity. But I like to talk to people who are smarter than me and more creative and experts in their arena. And Kathleen is one of those individuals. Been coming on the show for quite a while, Kathleen. I don't even remember how long, but
I don't know, quite a few years for sure.
Certainly appreciate all of your input to the show.
Of course.
But I want to throw a question out to you. When we're looking at design, now you made a comment in the last segment, you know, if you're going to be staying there forever, which I hear that so often, and then all of a sudden I get a notice that somebody's moved. People don't really know what they're, you know, they think that's their forever home, and then they find out they need to upsize, right size, whatever. So when you're doing some of the design work, especially when it's not as much for the furnishings, but, you know, when you're doing a kitchen or a bathroom, are you looking at those things with respect to resale value and what it does to the property?
Of course. So if they're like short term is what you're saying, if somebody's going to be there maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, if they're 5 or 6 years, or, you know, if you're in your 60s or 70s, you may be accurate in saying it's your forever home. Right. My guess is somebody in their 30s or 40s might say that, but they really don't know.
I mean, true, but believe it or not, every client I ever ask, they know that answer. Could it switch down the road? Yes. But if they know for sure they're going to just stay there for 5 years or stay there for a lifetime, then at least that kind of helps me, you know. And if they do some crazy design stuff that they want in a bathroom or a kitchen, I'll just always bring up, you know, from a resale standpoint. And if they don't, you know, a resale standpoint, this might not, you know, sell to 100% of the buyers coming in. If they don't care, or they'll rip it out later when they're going to get ready to move, then we'll just do it.
So you mean the Green Bay Packers yellow and green paint on my son's room?
Yeah.
That's probably not great for resale.
Exactly. Yes. Probably a neutral color would be perfect.
Yeah, well, that didn't go over so well, but that's a whole different story. What is the, I don't know, maybe the most outrageous or exciting or interesting remodel that you've done?
I'm doing it right now, and it's awesome. It's not even a remodel. They just moved into a brand new home, And this is in a great area down in Boca. And we are just doing every bell and whistle to every single room. And so we have wallpapered. I know the word wallpaper. It has come back very strong. And we're doing that in about 8 rooms. And it's amazing. We're doing some murals. So I have this old plane, black and white, landing right over the headboard in a boys' room. And we're just doing tons of lighting, drop ceiling. So we're dropping the ceiling and doing the LED lights. There's just a lot of cool features that we're doing in this house.
That must be exciting when you have somebody that really wants everything.
Everything, and they're so easy to work with, and it's coming out so beautiful that this will be a prize winner for sure when we get done.
When you do something like that, are you able to take pictures and share, or is it something that people don't even want to have the world know about?
No, most of my clients are good with it because I've touched everything in the house. I want to photograph it, and they want me to photograph it, so it's perfect.
Where can we go and see those pictures?
Well, we're not done yet. We'll be done the first week in December, so I'll let you know when we post them.
Where do you have pictures of some of your past jobs?
You can go on my Instagram, which is KG Inspires, or you can go to my website, which is www.kginteriordesign.com, and they have a lot of before and after photos in there too, which we're starting to update some of the new projects that we have out here.
Say that website again,
kginteriordesign.com.
Okay, cool. So we can go and take a look at some of the work.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to hire you in Southern California, are you still taking on new clients out here?
I am. And somebody asked me a question last night, and they were like, so you pretty much have to just design in the area you live in. And I said, no, I helped build a remodel. We pushed the house out 10 feet, added some of the second level to the house. I built it here in Florida on a Zoom call with the architect and my clients. So I don't have to be back there all the time. Zoom is a wonderful thing, and we're able to do a lot of work without me flying back and forth. So I work all over the country. I do consulting. People will be like, I just need some help decluttering my home. If I send you pictures, can you, send me some ideas? Absolutely. So I don't need to fly to California anymore. We do a lot of work here.
So even in interior design, the concept that we talked about in the real-time real estate segment, you can work remote.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I have the same stores and showrooms here that I have on the West Coast or up north. We have the same stores. So it's easy for me to go in and ship out samples or whatever to the client.
Great information. If you want to meet Kathleen, give me a call at 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch. So, I used to say bi-coastal, but now you're worldwide. So it's all over the place.
It's all good.
So give me a call and I'll put you in touch with Kathleen. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.